The Israelites are complaining. They're like, we're thirsty. So God, I love this because God first gives them water. And it talks about this in chapter 17 here, where obviously God, quenches their thirst. Because how many know when you're thirsty or you're hungry, you can't really concentrate? I love that's a picture of God. He's a great provider who still provides. And some of you need to be reminded of that today. Like, God is so provisional, and it's not just like with money. He's provisional like in every aspect of our life, because one of his names is Jehovah Jireh, the great provider. And so he provides for us relationally. He provides for us the church. He provides for us relationships, and he provides for like our every need. Some of you just need to be reminded of that God is the great provider. And so here, God to Moses, Moses to Joshua, take your men. I'm going to go up on the hill here, which is very significant because the hill actually represents God and his strength. So this is God. There's a great battle that's going to happen here. And God's just basically like rising above it. How many know, like when you're in battle, you got to rise above it. It's so easy to get caught up in like what's wrong, what's not working. You got to rise above it. If you know God, we're called to rise above it. One of my favorite scriptures is in Psalm 121, where it talks about that I lift my eyes up. Where does my help come from? My help comes from you. My maker, the heavens, of the creator, of all the earth. Like it's a beautiful scripture of looking, above everything. And then here's the battle that's going to take place here. Because as the church, now this is going to shift a little bit here. As the church, we're a lot of things. We're a family first. So if we don't operate that, how many know, like in family, we fight. And in family, people get on your nerves. I mean, that's not just a church thing, that's a people thing. So when people blame the church for everything, I'm like, actually, you can go to your family reunion and probably fight with a lot of people. So this is a kind of picture of the church as an army. So we are a lot of things. We're a hospital, we're a family, but we're also an army. So here's the army coming together. And, there's this great story that actually that missionaries in the early days, like in the 1700s, they would actually leave the UK and they would pack all of their belongings in a coffin. Because the whole idea of them going into serve, it was like, I'm giving my life to this. That's sort of the army as the church. I'm giving my life to this. And they would pack all their belongings in a coffin, never expecting to go back home. There's something about serving, God in that's very, very powerful. So here, the Amalekites are really great, at war. I mean, they're battle veterans, and the Israelites are peasants. So it doesn't really get, any harder than this. Like you take peasants that aren't used to battle, and these veterans of war that they're coming up against. So it's intimidating. Like battle's intimidating. And so God's saying here, but this is what I brought together. This is the power and the picture of the church as the army of life together. Now, Moses, it talks about in chapter 17 here, when Moses went on top of the hill, this is that scripture, that when they held up Moses' hands, they would win.